Welcome back to another episode of the Childish Grown Up Show. It's your second favorite time of the week, Fridays. Uh, and y'all know how we give it up on the Childish Grown Up Show. I am one of the hosts, Maurice Hunter III, formerly or AKA known as Mo. I'm here with one of the co-hosts, Ash Bash, and Mia G is not here, but she is here in spirit, as well as technology, as we'll get into a little later. Ash, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Happy to be here.
Good, yeah, me too, man. It's been a while since we got the TGIF in. You know, if you miss it, then you miss it for a whole 4 week cycle. So it's really good to be back doing this. And this is something that was dope. We almost had a guest tonight, but some things didn't work out. However, he thought the subject matter was so good that he will be bringing it up on his podcast. So I told him just give us a little plug, and hey, that'll do it. So yeah, we are here. If y'all can see the title, it's 6 characters that influence your personality or your makeup, who you are, how you got here. Ash, before we kind of start getting into our list, what was this process like for you to come up with like this 3 from TV, 3 from film?
It was actually harder than I thought. This was pretty difficult for me. I had a few that came to mind, and I ended up having an honorable mention as well. But it was a little more challenging than I thought it would be. Um, I think I'm a very unique person, and so like just me trying to think of all the, just the different movies I've watched TV shows. I've seen a lot of good characters, but can't say that my personality is, it was hard to pull. Like I was really trying to do my best. So a decent list, but it was definitely difficult for me.
That I can see that. I can understand that. Like you said, kind of like, you really got to get into like the textures of who you are to kind of get there, figure that part out. You know what I mean? So for me, it was a little easier because I just thought about all of the people that, I pulled a lot of stuff that like it may not necessarily be who I am still, but there was a moment or era in my life where I was like, yo, I definitely drew from this, and that defined my personality at that point. You know what I mean? And some of it still to this day. So Mia, she also has left some voice notes. I'm not sure if she has got into that part of it. I didn't listen. We don't listen before because we want to get the true element of surprise. So we're gonna let Mia G go first, see what she got going. Also, shout out to the Stoop Kids. We will be reading your comments from videos as well as your emails and all of the stuff that y'all leave us. But on TGIF, we like to go against the grain, kind of not go business as usual, kind of have a laid back night, similar to how TGIF style was back in the day. It was the Fridays. It's like, okay, this is where the family gets together. Nobody's cooking. You know, if you're gonna be at the crib, you're not going out to get no eat. I mean, going out to eat, you're gonna order a pizza from Pizza Hut. You'll get the 2 liter, and we about to watch that lineup. You're excited about the lineup of TGIF, all of the great sitcoms. So we try to treat this similar to that, and this is also our homage to the nostalgic side of television, because we deal with films mostly outside of, when Ash Flash with Ash, we get into a little bit more layers of nostalgia. But this is kind of, our homage to television, because this show could easily spin off and be a whole nother nostalgic show, strictly retroactively talking about television. So, but we wanted to cover everything because this is a nostalgic podcast first, film review second. So without further ado, let's see what Mia G had to say. Ash, see if I can work this thing out. I'm producing in real time here.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna see what happens. All right, so here we go. Like this.
Okay, bear with me. I'm in my car because, as you know, my air is out, and I just getting home from work. And I'm not great at voice notes. I've never done this for something like this before. But getting right into it, this was really difficult for me because I'm not really a I've never really thought about film or TV necessarily influencing my personality until you asked the question. So I had to go back and try to figure out what exactly I came up emulating or what I watched so much that it kind of influenced who I am. So I'm going to start with film. And the first film that I have to go with is going to be Crooklyn. And the character is going to be Troy. So I grew up watching Crooklyn. It was one of my favorite movies. It's a film that me and my mom watched a lot. It's very sentimental. It's like a family favorite with my mom's family. And Troy, though I didn't grow up in a family of brothers, I always had a whole lot of sisters. I always kind of felt a little bit different, which now I know is probably because I'm neurospicy and I really related to a lot of this character's nuances and little quirks and just how she wasn't a bad kid and she wasn't necessarily a rebel, but she just did things, I think, without necessarily thinking about the consequences or really without a thought. And I think I was a lot like that as a kid. I was a good kid. I didn't get into a lot of trouble, but I found myself in just like doing weird things or being in weird situations, observing a lot of weird things, which brings me to my second film.
All right, Troy from Crooklyn. Now I don't know about Ash, but I have not seen Crooklyn. Y'all don't cancel us because we ain't seen Crooklyn. Y'all ain't seen the Spike Lee joint Crooklyn? Are y'all serious? Are you kidding me? Y'all haven't seen this movie? No, we have not seen. I have not. Have you seen this, Ash?
Not. I looked up the character. She looks familiar to me, but I don't think I've watched it. No.
Okay, so I haven't seen it, but I know that our big cousins, the Culture Garden, they talked about Crooklyn, and I've seen I've seen all kind of different different things with the movie and all over the years, and I had recently watched the Spike Lee joint, and so it was it just brought me back to a certain dopeness with how Spike Lee does his films and stuff like that. So, but yeah, dope. I'm glad that this was a challenge for you, Mia, because that's the point of these things is to be challenged, not to be easily put together. Ash, anything else you want to add to that?
I mean, how she described it, I mean, that pretty much tracks from what I know of her so far.
Yeah.
We're constantly getting to know each other on this podcast, and that's the beauty of it. Of course, me and bro are siblings, and then Mia, she's a really cool person, so I just love getting to know her. Dope personalities.
Yeah, that tracks. She said she was a good kid. Good kid, Mad City van. We'll pop the latch and make the door slide. All right. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Ash, since she started off with the films, I think let's go in that direction first then. I don't know if she's going to do honorable mentions. Do you want to go to honorable mentions first, so kind of build some suspense?
Do that, yeah.
All right. Do you want to run through all of them, or you want to go individually?
I just have one honorable mention, so I know you have quite a few.
Okay.
So I just have one, and it's from TV, actually. It's Brianna from 101. To mention her because, first of all, that's our show. We've talked about that with our Bops episode of TGIF. So we've had plenty of conversations about this show. But I picked her simply because of her tight friendship, her tight-knit friendship with Spirit.
Okay.
It reminded me of me and my friend Micaiah, because we went to high school together and we always stayed together. We would check our schedules, see if we had any classes together, see what lunches we had so we could meet up in the hallways at each other's lockers. And just her dynamic with Spirit, it just reminded me of my dynamic with my friend Micaiah. You have your groups or whoever you hang out with in high school, but you always have that one that's like solid. So had to throw her in there.
How come it didn't make your list? I'm curious to know. Like that'll be the other ones are just stronger.
I guess it actually could have made my list, but yeah, I got the other ones are a little stronger to me. I think a little more fitting to like me specifically, and not just like my friendship or whatever. So, but yeah.
Okay. I'll just run through all of mine and explain a little bit then, because I got 4 honorable mentions
Okay.
from film. So first, Devin Butler, played by Norman D. Golden. We talked about the movie Cop and a Half, but yeah, his imagination playing outside, and just how he was always in his own little world, and he felt like an outsider. I felt like that as a kid. I always just felt outsider. I was just in my own head and everything, but definitely was smart. I mean, at least street smart. So definitely connected with Devin Butler from Cop and a Half. My second honorable mention, Drayton Jackson, Bill Bellamy from How to Be a Player. Just his take on, like, I thought he was just such a suave dude, a fly dude. His charm, how he was, I took pieces of that, like when I just like how he was with like everything, like even when I was in college, definitely was trying to be a player for sure. Like uh, I was trying to be like that, like trying to definitely like, hey, keep this one from that one, keep that one from this one. I wasn't successful. I was never nearly as cool as Drayton Jackson, but that was definitely an influence. Like I definitely thought about like that's where you're looking at how do you have game, and he was the direct person I looked at on what game looked like. Thirdly, Christopher Kidd Harris from House Party. Similar reason I had kind of the Devin Butler, same thing, outsider, kind of like, trying to find your way, maybe not the popular person like that, but, good looking, you'll have your moment to shine. And that's what happened to me in high school. I definitely had my moment to shine. Dancing with my brother. We definitely killed a homecoming or two just from routines we worked on at home. And Kid, I just connected with him so much. Like it's crazy. Most people will probably say play, what I mean, Peter, but I was connected more with Kid. And then even then, like you know, getting it off so much that he ends up getting in a position, and I can't wait till we talk about House Party. But he gets in a position where he gets to make a choice between 2 very beautiful women in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, and they both was digging him for real. Like, it wasn't even so he really wasn't ever as lame as he felt like. You know what I mean? Or like at all. And he got to he just had one night to really showcase like all the things that he had to offer, and I just connect with that so much. Y'all hear more about that when we do House Party. Like, there's so much there. Yes.
Who said you were good looking?
Huh?
Who said you were good looking? Let's start there.
Oh man, that's funny.
Woo.
That is funny. Oh man, Champagne. And then lastly, Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop. I absolutely, when we used to play outside, yeah, I'm about to take you back on this one, Ash. There's a specific time that I think about, and I don't know. You remember, Mama had a friend, and her friend had 2 kids. It was a boy and a girl.
Yep.
Kirsten and Ashton.
Yeah.
Bro, taking it all the way back.
Wow.
That is so nostalgic right there, dude. Kirsten and Ashton, but I think Ashton was I think he was the boy. So I just remember this one night we was at Holiday Park. We might have been there when it was afternoon and it got dark. It was sometime in the summer. But we were like just playing like cops hiding, like doing all kind of like fake cop stuff. And I just remember like just trying to talk all witty like Axel Foley, and then also every time we go somewhere, I'd be like dun, 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 dun. Like all of that. Like that had a run with me for sure. Like I really I was really locked in on that. So that's why it was like my honorable mention. And like I said, the other one was a little bit more personal and stronger, like Ash said. But so yeah.
That was a good listening.
Yeah, right on. You want to get into your first one in the film, or you want to let her get to her second?
No, we can do our film.
Okay,
yeah, let's get in there.
Go for it.
Well, this is probably obvious for you. But I had to go with Monica from Love and Basketball, of course. Sanaa Lathan. Pretty much, I felt like she was living the life that I was living at the same time. Of course, I used to play basketball, so was very heavily involved in basketball. And I had a crush on our neighbor. Was pretty much in love with him, just like she was secretly in love with Quincy on there. And just her personality too. Like, she wasn't really the girly girl, right? She didn't really wear dresses like that growing up, stuff like that. She just was her own unique person. Like, she liked to play ball, but she did like this guy. You know what I mean? And she wasn't like trying to throw herself. Again, they were friends, so you don't know if it's a mutual feeling. You're not gonna just try to cross the line without signs or anything like that. But and like for me, the boy next door, rest in peace, Jermichael, it just hit me one day. I was just like,
Rest in peace, my brother.
I looked at him one day and I was just like, he's cute. So I had been running around with him outside plenty of days and never even thought of him in that way. And then just one day I was just like, I don't think that it just the attraction turned on for me to him. So and that's probably just me growing up and like the mind started doing what it does. But so definitely had to get Monica from Love and Basketball. Uh, I think that's pretty expected for those who know me. So yeah.
Yeah, that's probably number one because I feel like it's so yeah that is a callback. Watch the momentum switch from you to me. Like one day it changed like
And
that.
also, even when she did put on that dress, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, no
They knew
doubt.
what time it was. So that was me too, like,
Yeah,
not to say too much, but like when I did decide to, wear some curvaceous things, you know.
it was different. You
Yeah,
was
for sure.
you was definitely you was definitely at the bank with it.
Yeah.
even that even the picture you used.
Hey, don't get me started, man.
Alright. I like
For
that. That's
clarity.
just for clarity. All right. For me, just so getting into it, I'm gonna go with Sidney Dean, Wesley Snipes
Ooh.
from White Man Can't Jump. Sidney Dean, like literally, this again, more nostalgia. Like I had to really go back in my mind and really try to capture things. When we went to, and it's funny, I was gonna bring this up at some point, but so you remember when we went to Thumbbody Special, the daycare? And
Yes.
it's just a side story. And you remember when I was gonna call Mama and ask get the scoop, but you remember when Mama moved us from the other daycare?
What,
And
the guy in the wheelchair?
yeah, you remember that?
Absolutely.
Bruh,
Absolutely.
I was telling like a nephew of mine like about that story. He was just locked in. I was like, man, how you like you could not hold the peace. He was like, nah, I ain't like that. Like, nah, I'm telling mama. Like, anyway, but I'll share that story at some point on here. But anyways, mama moved us back there. It was ABC daycare now, and so I used to hoop. And I don't know, you remember that teacher? He was like a teacher, the white dude. He
I feel
really
like I do.
he really kind of looked like Wade for real. Like not the hair though, but like he just in the face kind of looked like Wade from You Got Served. I used to call him Big Man. And so
Really?
yeah, I called him Big Man, and everybody in the daycare started calling him Big Man. But anyway,
Wow.
we used to hoop in them rocks. You know what I mean? When we used to go outside and play, we used to hoop in the rocks. And like, bruh, everything about my style was trying to be Sidney Dean. Like the tongue out between Sidney Dean and Michael Jordan, obviously it's the 90s, but like Sidney Dean, everything was so flashy and extra. Like, and I was just doing all of the extra, bro. I carried that on even up until like I still was hooping as a teenager. Like just
Mhm.
having certain flashiness because of Sidney Dean, his whole demeanor, his whole swagger, like everything about him, just he put it on so strong when it came time to hoop. Like he just put it on so strong. He will make you think he really mad, whatever. Like he just whatever it took, like he was getting that W. And so Sidney Dean,
Yeah.
like by far, like sports was, I mean, basketball was huge in our family. As I
Yeah.
actually spoke about, obviously loving basketball, and I pick a movie also basketball romance. White Man Can't Jump. So I guess that's it wasn't so much on the relationship part with him and his wife and the kids because
Mhm.
I didn't connect with it as much then. I didn't understand it. I can connect with it now, but then I didn't. But so I didn't list it for that reason, but I listed it for the reasons I've mentioned. So City Dean.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, let's see what Mia G got next. Hopefully, keep my place. Let's see. Come on. I didn't. That's all right. We're gonna make it work. 10 years for putting in work. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can.
Different, which now I know is probably because I'm neuropsyche, and she wasn't necessarily a rebel, but she just did things I think without necessarily thinking about the consequences or really without a thought. And I think I was a lot like that as a kid. I was a good kid. I didn't get into a lot of trouble, but I found myself in just
There's no way I can fast forward this through a text, y'all. So y'all got to bear with if y'all hear a few things to say.
observing a lot of weird things. Which brings me to my second film, which we've already discussed, and
I think I know
you
it.
might we've had our disagreements on.
I know what it
Would
is.
be Harriet the
I
Spy,
knew it.
the character Harriet. And as you know, because we talked about it, I loved Harriet the Spy. I wanted to be just like
So did that, bro.
her in a lot of ways. I bought the composition notebook, and I felt like, and I wanted to be a journalist, of course. And I felt this sense of like weird kinship with her character because she was in her head a lot, which I was also in my head a lot. And I don't necessarily know if the character influenced my personality other um or if it influenced my aspirations. Because ever since then, even though, I didn't end up becoming a journalist, I've still always kind of been a people watcher, someone who's still very much in my own head, like Harriet. And, we talked about it at length when we talked about the film, but it was a very meaningful character to me growing up. And I still feel if we could have seen an adult Harriet, that she possibly could be a lot like me. And lastly,
Harriet the Spy. I know that we had spoke about it. Like she said, we did the movie. If y'all ain't haven't already, it's funny. We've talked about a few of the movies that we've spoke of the characters. I think that I can see now that it influenced our picks in a way because Harriet the Spy was one of the movies. Love and Basketball, probably our longest review. We also did Cop and a Half. Uh, yeah, so it definitely influenced that. But yeah, what do you think about that, Ash? I mean, I know she had spoke about it before, but just kind of giving a little more detail on that. Anything
Right.
new?
Nothing new. Expected. I know she did. She always says she's in her head a lot. I know she does a lot. Obviously being a parent is always a lot on your docket, and then having a high stress job as well. So definitely tracks, and I think it's beautiful how our episodes are blending. Like you said, like it shows our character of who we are. It's like how we pick our movies, and then it's tying back to this great episode that you created. So I think that's a
Okay, all right,
yeah.
yeah, right on. All right, well, come on with it. What you got for your next, your second choice of the three from film?
Second from film. Hmm. Now this probably shock you, but Maxine from Soul Food. So that was Vivica Fox.
Oh,
And probably not in the way that you might think. And I dug deep for this one. Now, granted, there was plenty of ways that I'm not like her, but let's say there were similarities that I found. Just how hard she would go for her family. Um, she didn't take any shit. She always wants the best for the family in the end, right? So she may not have always went about things in the right way, and that's not where I relate. But just like her desire for the family to stay connected, in whatever form that has to be, at different stages of our lives. Even just growing up, Christmases, we were getting older. In our household, we used to all sleep under the Christmas tree, and like we were getting older, so eventually my brothers did not want to sleep in the living room on the floor under the tree. You know what
I
I'm saying? But
know,
I was
right?
always trying to hold
Yeah,
those secret moments together.
that's good.
Um,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so I was like, man,
I'm sorry.
it just made
That's
me
what.
think of her.
Because we now looking back, it's like, dang, you just wish you would have held on one more time, sleep under sleep under the tree. Dang, good call, I guess.
For sure. But yeah, so Maxine from Soul Food, man, I know that was I went
That
left with it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
dang,
she
that was
just was
crazy.
going so hard for the family, man,
She
and
was,
that's just I feel like that embodies a part of my personality. So
and it affected into her Ahmad's her son, right?
remember,
Yes.
she was pregnant. She had like his Kelly and Ma,
Okay. Yeah.
another
So
one.
even it even trickled down to Ahmad.
Yeah.
So it's dope. I can totally see Anthony being in that approach at some point, coming into his own and seeing the importance of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's dope. I did not. After Monica, I have no idea. Like that's all I can track as far as movies goes, and there's only one person I can track as far as TV goes. So I have no idea.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad though. For me, I'm gonna go my next one. I'm going Mike Lowry, Will Smith from Bad Boys.
Mm.
For me, this is a close one because it was like between him and Drayton Jackson. Bill Bellamy are obviously kind of similar reasons, but the thing about Mike Lowry versus Drayton is that he was like a little bit of everything. Like Will Smith, like he was just everything to me. Like he was good looking. He was good looking. He had the nice crib. He was good at his job. He didn't. You talk about not taking no shit. He didn't take no shit. I'm the first one at the job every day and the last one to leave. Like, bro, like, also I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Like, bro, he was not going, bro. And he was like, man, you thought, he was like, man, you did good, man. I almost thought you was gonna shoot me. I was. Like, bro, he's serious about like that. Mike Lowry's just that initial seeing how he had some reach at the gym, had to reach with the model. Like he had the reach, he had the resources. Dude was just he was one of them dudes. He was a badass. You know what I mean? Like he was the first like badass, like, and he was like cool. Like I can't explain the level of cool. I thought like I couldn't tell you how many times I tried to reenact the scene when they was running from his crib and like him and Marcus was chasing the dudes, like that whole slow mo joint. Like I can't tell you how many times I didn't try to recreate. Just when I run, I was thinking like that. Like I wanted my shirt flapping open. I wanted to. It looks so. Everything about what he was doing was fly to me, man. Like his whip. I can't. And I wanted to be Mike Lowry. Like everybody want to be like Mike, but like it was really Mike Lowry. Like I genuinely always thought, like in my mind, when I got older and got in my 20s, that was what I was striving to be. I'm like, I'm gonna be like Mike Lowry. I wasn't gonna be a police officer, but or a detective, but I definitely was like, bro, I'm gonna be like Mike Lowry. Like that was it's so many influential men that I've seen on television and film, but it was like Mike Lowry just nailed exactly what I wanted to be. Like he just was. Like I liked it. I liked him so much. He's still every time I watch the movie, and I mean, of course, he goes on further and you see him, but that first one, just the introduction, I'm a huge fan of Mike Lowry. Like he is a legendary character, and definitely so. Mike Lowry for me is my second pick in this movie side of our influential characters of our personality.
It's a solid pick, man. That's expected. I know Mike was huge us growing up, and I know you thought he was just like that guy, and he was that guy. So that tracks.
I always wanted to be that guy. Like that's
Mhm.
what's that's where you start to, if y'all really are paying close attention to these picks, you'll start to see like that's what this was about. It was me wanting to be that guy,
Mhm.
and because some people just naturally got it, and some people got to really work for it, and so that was kind of more of my story. Let's see what Mia got as her third pick.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. So my last film that I had before my honorable mention is Boomerang, and I had both Angela and Jacqueline. Of course, when I was watching this film as a kid, I wasn't supposed to be watching it, had no business watching it, but it's always been one of my favorites. I feel like Angela and Jacqueline were one of my first depictions of what it was like to be a young, like, adult black woman, and not in a domestic sense, but just in a real life, everyday dating and relationship sense. Very candid, the way that they relate to each other and to the other women and men in the film. And of course, I say that they influenced my personality because I feel like I've been a Jacqueline and I feel like I've been an Angela. All depends on who you ask.
What you think?
Now that kind of shocked me a little bit. Hold on, I know that's Hallie and what's her name?
Robin
Chick that
Givens.
looks like Robin Givens,
The chick that
right?
looks like Robin Givens. That's Robin Givens, right?
Oh, I'm thinking about
She said,
Frankie Lyman's third wife. They look familiar. I mean, they look similar to
"Oh
me
yeah,
when she was younger. You know what
okay,
I mean?
yeah,
Oh, but it was Robin, yeah, because she had the ugly feet, right? Yeah.
yeah."
Um,
you gotta watch Boomerang. You ain't watching it, have you?
no, I haven't watched it in a while, but
It's a great rom com.
I remember both, and so she said she was a little bit of both. Okay, I'm trying to think
So
on
so
the ass.
so Robin, I believe Robin is Hallie. So Robin, she was like the artsy one. She wasn't. It's hard. It was a hard sell because it's like she was always cute, even when she was like in her regular personal assistant bag.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever her role was, it's still hard to sell with Hallie in that sense. But and then Jacqueline was like that, like that grown woman. I'm already established. I already, I'm in that lane, and she was the one that like played him, and he was like all in his feelings. Like she had it together, and yeah. I Whenever you get a chance, you and T watch that movie again. Like it Kashana introduced me to it, and I didn't realize. I said, "How did I not ever see this movie?"
I like it a lot for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, she's about her business, Mia G. You know, she's about her business. So like, it did look like Robin was doing her thing. You know, she just looked like she. You know what I'm saying? And we know Mia G had that money.
Yeah, it definitely had that money.
Had money. So
She
that's
gonna be.
that's
I gotta
that's a
stop
good pick.
lying over you. Stop lying
Hey
over
man, they had that money.
you.
That's our new thing for her.
Yeah, it had it. Yeah, that's the narrative now. Like Mia, she came for money. Like
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mama C gonna regulate. Watch.
Right.
uh,
Yeah,
but
I like it. I like it.
all right, let's give us your last one for the influential characters from film that affected your personality.
Again, this was hard for me. This is actually a newer movie, but I still think it. You know, so this is from Creed, Bianca.
Oh wow.
Um, and I dug deep for this one too. She was just really sweet and supportive of Adonis and what he had going on. And she was always open to have deep conversations to find solutions. Like I really pulled that from her. I mean, well, not pull that, but like I really resonated with her. Like if you go back and look at those films, those are some of my favorite films. I really enjoy those. I can watch literally back to back. But she was just always trying because he was struggling with his emotions and how to communicate those to her,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if they had anything to do with her or not. And she was just always, just calm and collected, even though she had her own feelings and emotions too. And it's kind of me because I tend to not. I think I express myself pretty well, but I'll sit on it for quite a bit because I'm so like focused on my partner and wanting to make sure that he's okay. And I know naturally it's just harder for men to open up and be vulnerable because sometimes they don't feel like they have that safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to create a safe space for your partner, and I feel like Bianca did that with Adonis, and I think that I'm that way also. Again, I'm not afraid to have the deep conversations to knock down those barriers. So I think that really resonates with my personality for sure.
I like it. Yeah, she's a great character. This is those films are like the new age
Yeah.
complexity in relationships that
Mhm.
they're showing like maturation exists, and then kind of like the new age when you're seeing relationships of color. I think that it's just this new style that people are writing from, so it fits, and she's definitely a great character.
Thompson, shout out to her.
And I can see that. Yeah, that tracks. Lastly, and I know you had to have known this one. We did not discuss this before. The last character, and by far the most influential movie character that I took directly from personality wise, Big Mike, Sean Nelson from The Wood. This is by far the most influential person of my personality. Again, I told y'all started to understand a little bit more of my stories, like feeling like an outsider, not really being that guy, having to work to get in there because maybe I like this these type of cartoons, or I like to do these type of activities, or I got a different world view on these type of things, and trying to figure out that middle ground of what's cool. Mike came, he came from North Carolina, and so him coming into California and like they, Bloods and Crips and like the whole culture and everything, and like him trying to find his way, and like you see the beginning of the movie how things were. It was terrible, like terrible starting off. Like you got your ass beat by Stacy, of course, but it's the slow build into who he becomes from that moment to we juniors now. Like how much even before that, like just the school dance part of it, like how confident he was you gonna be able to dance. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to dance. And of course he's like, I ain't never really danced before, but like all that stuff is like how I felt. Like I like the cute girl, and now she's showing me attention, and now he's like, bro, all you're trying to do is just keep being yourself. Like just don't get out of pocket. Keep being yourself. You know what I mean? And so we see it pays off. He gets her number, and later down the road, they end up eventually exchanging their virginity. And just that whole interaction was like beautiful, and like I connected with that. I wanted my first time to be like that, even though it was like, that's it. Yeah, I guess it is. I guess that's it. That whole thing, but still, like after that, you knew like his whole world changed. Like, and now she's my girlfriend. We going to prom together, and so just everything about Mike. That's without kind of getting into the movie The Wood, because eventually we will. Culture Guard, they might have to hustle. But eventually getting in the wood. But Big Mike, like that's me. When I see him, I see myself. Everything about it, like doing the bet, like even when he didn't tell them about him being the one that actually won the bet on who would lose their virginity first, because he downplayed it. He told him eventually after one of them, Slim and Roll end up
real stand up.
Yeah, real stand up. Like kept it, held it down. So that would have been me. Like, nah, this is my girl. Like, I am gonna tell him. I'm dying to tell you, but hold it down. And so everything about Mike, watch that movie. Even grown Mike, you know what I mean? Just all of that. Like he was Obama. Like, yeah, like that was even more. Like it's like, yeah, Big Mike, I can go on all day. I don't want to be a motor mouth, but like, yeah, Big Mike from The Wood. Come on. Now our television side. Do you got any honorable mentions, or that was all that you had for this?
That was all I had was Brianna.
Okay, my one honorable mention. I only got one for TV. It's Eddie Thompson, Orlando Brown from That's So Raven. Eddie was so cool to me. Like he really didn't get all of the looks that he deserved. Well, it's Raven's show, so he didn't necessarily need to, but he was so cool to me. Like the dreads, the basketball, his style. Like his style was like that was it's so 2000, the baggy clothes, but he got the the button up shirt, the Timberlands. He was I don't know. It was something about him that was just so cool to me, and I wanted to be like Eddie. Like I thought he was in my mind. I was like, again, I had a crush on Raven Simone, but I was like, bro, why ain't you try to talk to your friend, bro? Like what's up? Like but of course it's script is a lot of other factors, but like Eddie Thompson, I don't think people talk about that much, but like because I kind of pull from like teenagers, like because that's where television I look at the most, like the influential part of it. So Eddie Thompson, Orlando Brown from That's So Raven. That's my only honorable mention. Let's see where me and G going with it.
Television. The first television character that I put down for how they influenced my personality would be Angela Moore from Boy Meets World. And I've talked about this too, how much Boy Meets World was my favorite show growing up and how much I loved it. And the reason why I say that her character influenced my personality is because though not in the same way as her, because she was kind of like the only black character on the show, and I was around a lot of black people, but my two best friends growing up were white. So when I was around like their families and a lot of the people that we did hang around in high school were white, and I related to that, but also I felt like the way that she related, she was still very much a black girl in this very white environment. And she never played into any racial stereotypes. And but she didn't conform completely into whiteness. I felt like that was something that I resonated with a lot growing up. The second one that
That character is absolutely great character. She was definitely one of the ones. She was very attractive, very cool. I liked the pairing. I liked her
Yeah,
being paired with Sean. Uh,
Sean.
yeah, I like that pairing. It felt like Sean would have been the one, if it's Corey or Sean. I mean, maybe even Corey's big brother, maybe. But I think Sean was, yeah,
Kind of corny to me, like,
he was like the original way they wrote him before they made him like dumb and corny.
yeah.
Like when he was like the cool big brother at first, like, but
Hmm.
Sean was a great parent with her. I like that for those that are listening that are not black when she's talking about like compromising into like complete whiteness. It's just that I can't even go into it. It's too deep for a show like this. But it's just identity, still keeping your identity intact, and it may not be as much of a thing for like other cultures, but in black culture, like your identity uh is very essential. Like it's just very essential. Like we carry our color as our culture. It's a part of what makes us. And that's a longer thing, but that's kind of what she's referring to. But shout out to Mia for that. What you think about that character? Do you remember her?
I just remember her.
Okay.
And I loved her and Sean together. I thought they were so cute. And it was well, I mean, they were young. It was sexual chemistry too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it was a smoke show.
yeah.
Like that energy was different than
Mhm.
like Corey and Topanga. Like, of course, they were cute, but like that energy was just a little, different. But this is an insight because we didn't know that much about Mia.
Oh yeah.
So that's also like something new we just learned about her. And like, I love that she resonates with her and didn't conform and still, like you said, that growing up part of trying to carve your identity and like you have your culture and like where you're going, like it's a lot to unpack
Hmm.
at a young age. So okay, get you.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that your two best friends were white. That's
Exactly.
if you're still me, I know you eventually will listen at some point or we'll hit you in the chat. But if you are still friends with them, it'd be interesting to have one of them on the episode. Like it doesn't have to be obviously a racially driven
Right.
episode, but it would be an interesting thing of talking about a film with an ensemble of different ethnicities and just getting that side of things. Because I'm always intrigued by that type of thing. I had a white best friend growing up too. He wasn't my only friend, but he was one of my best friends, at least in high school. And shout out to Big Aaron. So I
Yeah,
hope all
sure.
is well, brother. Uh,
You know
all
he's
right.
married.
Yeah, I said, man. Hey, man. I
Oh,
know that.
I had two Korean best friends. Remember Norma? Norma was Puerto Rican and Korean.
Oh, she was
And
Korean
then
too.
my friend Umbi.
I remember
Umbi was
Umbi.
straight Korean, dude. They were
Yeah.
my best friends.
That
And it was like a school of mixed races, but I had,
yeah,
they were
those
like
you're
my
right.
best friends.
Ain't
Straight.
your other friend you just mentioned, wasn't she mixed or something?
Who?
Kamaya, what's her name?
Norma?
No, like the other friend you was mentioning
Oh,
earlier.
McCoy.
My,
McCoy is,
oh, I thought she was mixed with something black and something, but all right.
no.
But yeah, all
Mhm.
right. What about you, Ash? Now that we get into television, what's your first character you want to bring up that influenced your personality?
Okay, so the first character, TV wise, we've talked about her before on a TGIF episode. I had to go with Moesha.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I said Moesha because to me, she made it cool to be smart and still be like popular or whatever. You know what I mean? It was like back then it was almost like you had to choose. Like
That's
you was
right.
either a cool kid, but you wasn't book smart. You didn't really get good grades. You know, you was like a jock or, in the
Mhm.
books or a
Yeah.
nerd or whatever. So I think when I came across Moesha, like for me, I was book smart, which I still am. And I love that she had like a small circle of friends. And that was also me in high school. Like Mia always says, when you find your people, you're just with your people, right? So I always had my little circle of friends. And I was cool with nerds and I was cool with popular people. So I was never anyone that like shunned people away for being different.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually more drawn to the different people. Like I just be intrigued about people's personalities and how,
Yeah.
their makeup. I'm just curious and, I yearn to know more about people and, just what they're into.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Moesha, just in a matter of, like I said, she was stylish and
Yeah.
also, like I said, she was very smart. Like she was getting good grades, but she still was like cool. Like everybody knew her. Like she was a solid, for the most part, solid person. And like that was me in high school. Like I was like down the middle. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
everybody would know me like, oh, that's actually how they describe me as like the dark skinned chick with the long hair. Like, that was kind of my description. And so like,
My description.
it was just me. But still, man.
Mm. All right, I like it. Moesha definitely had all of the flair. She checked all of the boxes for the most part. I mean, she was nosy,
Yeah.
like we always talk about, but outside of that, like she does check everything. Like she was talented. Wasn't she in that? No, that was never mind. That was Kim. I was gonna say in the group, but that was Kim. For me, my first one I'm gonna go with, and this is a tricky one because but I still will tie it all the way in here. I'm going Kel Kimball, which is Kel Mitchell from Keenan and Kel. Most people would say, why would you choose Kel Mitchell? I mean, or Kel Kimball from Keenan and Kel. He was the trope of the '90s dumb character. But as a kid, here's the tricky part, y'all. That kids growing up in the '90s and 2000s, when we were around all kind of people, as Ashley said, not just ethnicities, but all kind of different conditions of kids. Like sometimes we were around kids that had something going on. They might be on the bus with you. You just know, leave them alone. Like don't bother them.
Mm-hmm.
You have some people that are like mentally challenged, and some people that are physically challenged. Where they might have like I remember having a girl in my class that was like physically challenged, and she had it like, but she was super cool. And I remember like I was so surprised because she had the walker, she had the teacher with her, the personal, and I remember her like snapping back at somebody. And I was like, oh, she just like us. Like actually her mouth was a little worse than us because you thinking like, oh, Sierra over here with the walker, you trying to like, oh, leave, hey, I Sierra, you thinking whatever. She snapped back at somebody like just I was like, oh, bro, the walker don't mean nothing. She just like us. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so I never forget her, like just sitting in that corner or whatever. But she was cool people's but yeah, so Kel, like I never really I mean I knew that we knew that he was like slow or whatever. That was a trope. But his style to me was good. He was so funny to me. I thought he was good looking. His talent, he was talented. I just always looked past that part and I looked at everything else. And to me, he was just like Kel, Mitchell as Kel Kimball. He was just one of the most talented kids that I thought. Like I go all the way back to all that. I know it's not exactly the same character, but it's all tied into Kel Mitchell. All that, like him playing that old man, like, bro, genuinely killing it. I'm like, bro, this dude's our age. Well, he's a little older than us, but like, he's like,
Yeah.
12, 13, putting on the old man clothes, and he's like, like doing all of that, like, bro. But he was so funny, and then like I remember genuinely, like I would definitely be like that. Here it go, like that was
Yeah.
definitely we all took that. Like I ain't the only person. So I just everything about Kel, his style, going back to the Keenan Kel show, his style, his funniness, his loyalty, and just his sense of family. Even though he was the worst, he was messing up things all the time for Roger. But like he was cool. He was a loyal friend, and he always, no matter what it was, he was gonna try to help Keenan out of something. So I really, really like he really influenced me a lot. Like I wanted to style myself like him for sure and be funny like him. His style of funny was the funny I was going for back then. So
I'm not mad at it.
oh yeah.
Joe definitely he had a nice style. It's always crazy. They make the character that they want to be like dumb, quote unquote, stylish, just like Cole from Martin.
Cole,
Bro,
exactly. Cole.
killing it on the clothes. What?
He dressed way better than both of them.
Way better than that dude. So
Way
listen.
better. Like
Oh yeah, Cole's style was fire.
yeah, it hats and all. Like,
Remember he had the cutoff joint.
Yeah, hey, listen, you might be setting us up for the next TGIF. We're talking stylish characters. You never know. You know what I mean?
Ooh, see, that's fire.
You might have just opened that can of worms because the way you did, I'm like, yo, we do care about that. I know, Bradshaw, Kerry
I think
Bradshaw.
we should. I think we should.
Hey, All right, let's see what Mia G got for her number 2. Let me see if I can fast forward this up a little bit.
The second one that I had was Tia and Tamara from Sister Sister. Of course, I think they influenced every little black girl in some way or another. And whether that be with the way I used to wear my hair, the fashion, the way that I related to my friends and my parents, I feel like they taught a lot of good life lessons, and I picked up a thing or two. And finally,
what do you think about that? You being a young black girl as well with Tia and Tamara. What you think about what Mia was saying?
Short and sweet. I didn't even think about Tia and Tamara. That's the crazy thing. Like, and them was my girls. They still are. I love them. Tia, I love them. Solid choice, short and sweet. Especially just especially on the personality tip for me. Like they were funny.
Yeah.
Like especially Tamara. Like she was underrated, bro. Like Tamara was hilarious.
Yeah,
like on there, like some of the stuff she was saying, she was funnier than Tia for real.
Yeah, she was.
And just certain faces she would make. Dang, I didn't even think about that, but and they were smart too, like book smart. And you know what I mean, they had boyfriends. Tia was cheering. Tamara was walking into her faith. It was like, I didn't even think about that.
Dang. Yeah. Now you make what y'all selling? I gotta go back and watch that joint.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because like even the maturation, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like how they was like, a little quirky, whatever, and they kind of grew into it. I always think about the style, like, they used to wear the skirt with the like, they were like the knee high boots, the little black leather knee high, like the Sailor Moon joints. Like, and it looked so good. Like it was like, and they was always. I mean, it's the craziest thing. But me and Bubba love Tia and Tamara.
Of course.
And me and him love Tia and Tamara. It was so gorgeous. But the interesting thing about it, watching it, because we watch shows, and I mean, we were just horny little boys like most of us. I mean, we were watching WWF. Give us a break. They should have programmed us the way they did with the divas. But like with Tia and Tamara, there was this classiness that was carried with them that it didn't make me look at them in that like I said, the horny little boy way. It made me look at them like, yo, I just wanted to be my girlfriend for real. Like I either one of them. Like I was definitely drawn more to Tamara because she was not as put together. It felt like.
Really?
Yeah. Like
that's good because a lot of people was drawn more to Tia.
Yeah, I mean, it depended on the day. A lot of times it was switched because sometimes Tia just she like just looked better that day, whatever the episode. But I just love how they grew and the boyfriends, Jordan, Tariq, coming into all that was just one. It was just a great show. Like even I seen a clip recently where I don't remember if it was Tia or Tamara that was dancing with Brian McKnight.
I don't remember Tamara.
I think it was Tamara. I do think it was Tamara. But yeah, it was just so cool. But yeah, man, that was an excellent pick, man. Golly. Yo. Ash, what you got for your second television character that influenced your personality?
Second character. Shout out to bro. Got Martin on here, man.
Come on, man.
My one guy on the list, for obvious reasons. We grew up watching Martin. I mean, his humor and is dang near embedded in probably a lot of Black people's households, but I didn't realize it. But I do have some mannerisms similar to Martin, like just the way that I talk to my friends and people that are close to me. I'll say things that people may be thinking that won't say. And that's how Martin was. Like, he calling out the obvious, but people are thinking it, but they ain't said it. And I do that sometimes. And I find humor in the weirdest moments. And Martin was the same way. Like, he made a joke out of stuff when there's, at the worst times when
Oh
things are
yeah.
going on, but you got to find a way to laugh through things. And I think I do that quite often. And I mean, a lot of my friends say that I'm funny and I'm goofy and just like naturally. This is not me trying to be funny. Like, Martin is naturally funny.
Yeah.
And I mean, that just runs in our family anyway. But yeah, sometimes I randomly ask my friends, like, give me 3 things that how you would describe me to somebody that didn't know. That's how I am. A Cancer, I love words of affirmation. And the one thing on all their lists, always like, I'm funny. That's always in there, in
Yeah.
the top 3. So
You
it's
gotta
like,
already you gotta already know. You gotta know you're funny though.
I mean, I'm funny, but when people put it on their list, like, I'm like, they really think I'm funny. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I was that kind of funny. I'm not that kind of funny. I'm the funny that's not trying to be funny. So you can never.
Me too, though. Like, I'm
Well,
not trying to be
you
funny.
probably have that in the arsenal, but I think you still, because you're so bubbly. I think you're naturally funny because of the bubbly colorfulness of your personality. So and then you have that too. But like I'm like a person, like I don't have that like bubbly, so it's like stuff be funny to people. Like we talk about our
Gotta
cousin.
pull it out. Like,
Like I could get with you, but like it was how I would laugh and be rolling. But that's why stuff that is not meant to be so funny is funny to me because of how I am. Like I'm like, bro, like we were laughing at some on Good Earners, like it wasn't even that funny. But Spike said, man, he hated this nigga since he was a baby. Like, god damn, like it's like it was a throwaway, but it's like it's not meant to be funny, but because there's a deeper thing around it. But
right.
bro, I was rolling, like I was couldn't get it together, like so. No, that tracks. Like I said, did you watch any of Martin to kind of see if there was something that was like some like?
It's already in here, but like,
Okay.
I mean, I know the episodes like the back of my hand. Like, I mean, you can click to anyone. I probably know some
Yeah.
stuff. So it is embedded, like you said. I mean, it's in my makeup. So
Yeah.
I can see it. And I do say like, hey, man, what's up, man? Like, that's how I talk.
Yeah.
I don't know where, I just did.
They just stuck with you. I don't know. Maybe when we was kids, Dad just had you sitting in front of the TV and Martin was on. Like it just.
I think our dad, he's not on the list, but he definitely plays a part too because he talks. He's kind of like Martin too. Like
Yeah.
Like
It's
it's
definitely
just
Martin. Like I know.
Yeah.
My wife says about her dad as well. Like so, I'm like. Martin really influenced a lot of men. I feel like and a lot of people, where it's like that, all like the little setup. Like his style was just. Even when you go watch Def Comedy Jam, him hosting, his style is just like if you want to get a like black humor 1-on-1, like back then, and kind of how it carries now for all of the Stoop kids. Go back and watch some of that like Def Comedy Jam when he was hosting. All of that, just yeah. For me, my number 2, I am going Marcus Henderson, Jason Weaver from Smart Guy. So first and foremost, I grew up like we talk about this. This is still like it ain't a chip on my shoulder anymore. It took many years to get past it, but it was a chip on my shoulder as a kid. In our community and just being a kid, like we dealt with a lot of colorism. That's me putting it politely because that's the term. There's a term for it now. Back then, it was no term. It's just you black as hell. Like you know what I mean. So back then, just being dark skinned, darker toned, it was not cool. It was you were an easy target, easy joke. Don't laugh too hard around people because they it's easy to come up with something to talk about you about. And it definitely affected my self esteem a lot. Just now getting over that, and I still deal with some things, but not so much from a coloristic standpoint. When I seen Marcus Henderson on Smart Guy, and he was also dark skinned, man, it was just like that's why I just love Jason Weaver so much. Period. Just because like how smooth he was there, like the way he's getting, like his whole voice was like kind of like smooth and whispery, like, man, come on, ladies, like, I'm trying to take you. Come on, I thought we was going to the movies. Like he was just a smooth dude all the way through. And I know directly I pulled this. Like he used to do like this little like eye squinty thing. I thought like, oh, that's how he get girls. I was definitely trying to squint my eyes. Like I didn't have that style like that, but he just used to do that. So I was like, I think he might have been the reason I wanted to grow the afro for the first time is because that little fro he had on there. I'm like,
he was rocking it nice. Yeah.
He was. I'm like, bro, it was just everything about his makeup I was rocking with, and it was nothing was ever brought up about him being dark skinned. Like even though I know that who will write that in the show,
had a light skinned dad and everything,
and brother, and best friend, and sister.
Oh yeah, Essence.
Shout out to Essence. Shout
out to my girl.
And she could have been honorable mention. She's a good character on there. Like maybe.
Essence is my girl.
I love Essence.
Yeah.
To this day. But yeah, Marcus Henderson, man, I love Marcus Henderson, Jason Weaver, anything he's in. I always will. There's a movie that could possibly make it is gonna make it. I just don't know when, but there's a movie he played in when he was a little younger. That again, still that same charm. He was like a teenager. So, yeah, man. Let's see Mia G's last one here.
The last television show that in television characters that I'll say influenced my personality would be Carrie Bradshaw and the entire cast of Sex and the City. Carrie, Samantha, Charlotte, and Miranda. I feel like, of course, again, I wasn't supposed to be watching this. It is something that I've watched over and over throughout the years. And every time I watch, as problematic as some of the characters are, I really feel like they're very human. And I can see something of myself in each character, but specifically in Carrie and just how flawed she is. And as I've grown up, because of course I started watching this when I was like 10, I feel like I don't want to say that I'm just like a Carrie Bradshaw because I'm not, but I've picked up a lot of, I guess, personality traits from the Carrie Bradshaw character and how she views relationships and how she views life. But also, I've picked up a lot of things from all the other characters. I feel like some might say, if you ask different friends of mine, they'll tell you different things about me. I've never been a Miranda character, but I've been a Charlotte. I've been a Carrie. And we're not even going to talk about Samantha because I don't need to tell all my business.
Oh, Samantha's crazy.
When I get into my honorable mentions, for film, I had Cher and Dee from Clueless. I wanted to be just like them growing up. That was one of the first quote-unquote adult movies that I watched as a kid that my cousin introduced me to, and they were very aspirational for me. And for TV, my honorable mention would be Ginger from As Told by Ginger. I think that was the show that got me into journaling, not in the same way as Harriet's style, like observational, but just at the end of the day, I used to keep a whole bunch of little diaries, and I still do. Never really finish them, but I keep them. And I hope this was helpful and that you can use some of this because I'm really bad at voice notes, and I'm very much better at conversation. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Mia G. I think you did an excellent job with voice notes, and now you know that when you are in a crunch, because it does happen, and trust me, we all know how hard it is when you are in a crunch. You now at least we know you'll get more comfortable with it. Similar to Ash when she sent her voice notes. So,
that's one of my favorite episodes. I wouldn't even know that. I was like, "Hey, this felt like I was there."
It was just in sync, like you know what I mean.
That was cracking up in me.
Yeah, no doubt. Like it works. I prefer that more than reading off because I can't give it the integrity. Yeah. Which is in our mother episode that never made it, the unreleased. I couldn't give it the integrity that it needed from her standpoint because it was the list, and I just But what did you think about those things that she had mentioned?
That's a show that I do have to go back and
You
watch that
you
Mia and Mo are telling me to tap in.
you're going to like that world. I'm telling
I know
you.
I saw some episodes and
Okay.
just like Mia, watched them when I was too young, very inappropriate. But what she was describing, I could see it. Like I said, I know a little bit about each of the characters. Like I'm not completely removed. Like I
Hmm.
have watched
Same.
more than probably 5 episodes. So I've watched quite a few, just not like in one setting. Um, and yeah, well, I think we all have a little Samantha in us. You know, she definitely was, getting to it.
Knew what she wanted.
Uh, yeah, she was very bold and very initiative. And
Yeah.
sometimes women gotta, you know,
Huge,
we
great
gotta take the
that
initiative.
character, and she was so needed. She is well. Carrie is like between Charlotte and Samantha. I feel
Hmm.
like she's
Yeah.
like a little bit of I'll get there when I want to, but also she try to like that moral ground of I gotta find love and what is gonna be. It's hard with what I can't even remember the other character name now. The lawyer, the attorney. She said a
Is that
name.
the one with the nerd dude? Or are you talking about
Yeah, with
the?
the nerd dude. Yeah.
No, that's why I can remember her
I'm gonna
name.
find her name because she deserves some respect too.
Absolutely, Miranda, right?
Miranda. Yep. So
Yeah.
Miranda's a good character too. She was just so she was just so different from the others. Like
Hmm.
she was just so different. Uh, I feel like they work in like a perfectly four square because like
Hmm.
she's probably like the opposite of Samantha, or no, like she's like kind of the opposite of Carrie. I feel like just like Samantha is the opposite of Charlotte. So but anyways, yeah, that's hers, and as well as our honorable mentions. Ash, you ready to give us your last TV character that was influential to your personality? Ash, you there? So what was your last one?
So my last one is a little newer as well. But I had to go with Mary Jane from Being Mary Jane, Gabrielle Union. That show was actually really good. And I tapped into it later than when it first came out. And I talked to you about her too. So really, I chose her because of her style. Remember, I was like the Being Mary Jane dresses, like when I was trying to switch my style a little bit, like professionally. So yeah, I had to put her on here because like watching this show and seeing her attire as she go on set, like the dresses were bad. I thought they were really nice, really pretty, and I've always worked like office jobs anyway, so I've always had like a nice business casual wear, slacks, nice blouses, things like that. And I would wear some dresses too, but I wanted to find some very like youthful and stylish dresses that that hugged me just right. And so seeing her really elevated my look
Mm,
professionally. And honestly, I actually dress more business casual pretty often, even in my everyday wear.
mm,
As I got older, I really like that stuff. Like I like slacky pants and like I don't know, like I'm really into the business casual look with some sandals. But of course, I'm a person that versatile. So I think my biggest default is like athletic wear.
mm.
So I like biker shorts, Crocs, crop top shirts with shorts. The sweater short combo is something
Okay,
new I'm throwing in.
athleisure.
Yeah, athleisure. Like I'm a dress for comfort and then cute. And of course you have your time and place for like super sexy, shoulder, strapless, heels, different occasions. But my
Mm-hmm.
just everyday is definitely like athletic wear. And then second would be like business casual. Like
Mm-hmm.
you see me. It's funny because when I first switched my style, when you saw me, obviously my brother lives in a different state. So when you came to visit me, I had on that orange two-piece outfit. And he was like, hey man, I like your style. Like you said that to me verbally. And I'm like, because we hadn't seen each other in person in a while, and we didn't really know what our styles are, as we're older now. You was really feeling it, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh yeah, appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I had already switched over to like that type of look. Um, but yeah, so being Mary Jane with her dresses and it just really elevated my work attire. And I dress like that to this day. Like I always at these jobs that I've worked, like people, oh, you can wear jeans. They're like, we can wear jeans on Friday or we can do this and that, but I'm just not a jean girl. That's really not my thing. Unless they're like ripped.
Oh,
But
okay,
other
okay.
than that, like I dress up every day up to them, but it's like I'm just business casual.
Yeah,
And I've noticed I've done that and then people will start dressing better at work too. And
I
I'll
like
just
that.
be taking it in my head, I'm like, wow, like, cause
Do the
she
math.
dressing way better.
Do the math while I was hitting there.
So I find
Real quick question. Why Mary Jane versus Joan? Why not Joan? Because it's like maybe Joan is the walk so she can run. You think, or you? I just curious.
please shout out to Joan, for sure, because she started it. She definitely was fly for sure. Um, but Jones were a little more mature.
Okay,
So what I'm pulling from, like I would dress like Joan now. I'm about to be, I'm 33.
we're gonna get into that
But
too.
but Mary Jane, her dresses were still like youthful to me, and this was at a time where I was transitioning
Oh, okay.
to like trying to find some like I'm a pretty curvy woman, so trying to find some dresses that hug me nice but are still professional.
Yeah,
There's that line of, you want to be cute, but I don't like attention.
yeah,
So I choose wisely as best I can. But I mean, you got what you got.
yeah.
There's
You didn't
nothing
want to
I can
age. You
do.
didn't want to age yourself up to that degree. Like I ain't.
Yeah, like I don't want people to be like, damn, like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not trying to get that.
yeah, yeah. It makes sense like that. You know that the outfit that can go from work to happy hour.
Exactly.
Whatever Jody said. You know what
Right.
I mean? We selling them dresses.
All purpose. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. I need to
The all
keep it
purpose.
keep it right.
I like it. My last one. I've said this numerous episodes. This character means so much to me to this day. If I could, I would do a podcast on this. Kevin Arnold, Fred Savage, The Wonder Years. He is definitely the number one influential character. I will say this. I will harken back to this character so all the time. Literally the character, there's a narration happening. Like for some people, you can look at like Everybody Hates Chris as like kind of a new age version of this, but more of a comedic style. And then they've even come out with like obviously a black version of The Wonder Years. And I was really against it, and I watched. I said, "Oh, this is excellent too." But keeping it on Kevin Arnold, he was so like again, it's the same thing. Y'all I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's this. Now, the difference with Kevin was he wasn't so far out, like, oh, he was just a corny lame and he found his way to be cool. He was like in the middle, something like how Ash said, some people knew him, some people didn't, but he was in there. But he had the crush on, had a crush on old girl down the street, and they had this just on and off thing, it's something that I wanted. I wanted that like home girl that was like I was cool with, but she's cute, mate. Never know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. That whole thing, and he had his friend. I call him the real life Millhouse with the glasses. Even if he got older, he stopped wearing the glasses, got a little cooler. But just like everything, like him growing up in that house, having that brother. Now again, he was a younger brother. His big brother's just trash. Like that character's trash, and yeah, anyway, I just can't stand that character. Like every time I watch it, but I went back and watched this recently. It still holds up, and it still brings back so many feelings. Like I'm just his relationship with his father, his relationship with his mom. Like when his mom started working at the school, like that complexity reminded me of our mom working at the daycare. Like, bro, like he was trying to be cool about it, and like the way his mom handled it was so mature because she just wanted to get out. She didn't want to keep being like a housewife. Like she wanted to do something for herself. It's on Hulu if y'all interested, man. Y'all should really check it out. But like, biggest thing is the narration part. Like there's a narrator narrating his thoughts for Kevin, And that's a big part of like how I've always in my head, like I'm narrating my moves. Like in school, high school, I'm narrating my moves. I would listen to music. That was the soundtrack. I'm always narrating in my head. I even talk to myself. Like that's how influential this was. I actually talk to myself and talk myself through things as if I'm narrating back or I'm hearing my own narration. So Kevin Kevin Arnold from Kevin Arnold, Fred Savage that plays Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years, number one influential character for my personality. And similar to Big Mike from the movie, the narrating style, getting internal thoughts is what would align with a lot. So those are our 6 characters that influenced us, our personalities, 3 movies, three television shows. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Mia G, for sending your note. By the time y'all hearing this, Ash's birthday has passed, but her birthday is not quite here in this moment. So Ash, want to say happy birthday on air. Hope that you find, I still hope you find a childish grown up moment in the birthday somehow.
I'm sure I would.
And shout out to my brother-in-law too, man. Anything you want to give the people for this discussion before you give the big reveal of what's the next film? Oh, and I guess let me lay this out. Well, anything you want to say about this before I lay out the next category, so you can.
I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Like I said, it was a challenging topic because you really gotta know yourself and really dig deep. And again, um, for me for it to be hard for me, I mean, it's compliments to myself. Really, I feel like I know myself a lot, and that can be a thing too. Like I don't really know who's like
Yeah.
me. I'm me. So and then yeah, so maybe this will inspire y'all to like kind of tap in with yourselves and maybe, leave a comment, let us know your 6, 3 TV, 3 movie who y'all resonate with. We love to hear them and bro love to share it on air, man. Stu kids, come out, man. Mama,
Yeah.
hey, Mama C.
Come on.
You got 6 for us.
Come on, yeah, I know she do. Like
Public Enemy, man. Come on, man.
Come on, Public Enemy, come on. Yeah, come on with that. But yeah, that's well said. Like y'all, it definitely makes you go on a journey of self-discovery. We don't spend a lot of time with ourselves, like just looking at ourselves. We're always observing and looking at other people's needs and their personality traits and everything. We don't take a lot of time to look at ourselves, and this forced all of us to look at ourselves like, dang, where did I get that from? What did I connect with? What made me make that transition? And this journey of doing this is probably the most personal episode, I think, of TGIF. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So didn't mean to get as personal, and that was not the goal, but it happens, and so we did and had a great time doing it, of course, with Ash. And shout out to you again, Mia G. So our next round, Ash is going to reveal her movie, and the next order will be Ash, Mia, then me last. So our next round of movies, we're doing summertime films, and what that means is the films could feel like summer. They can have the summer aesthetic, or they literally take place in the summer. So we're trying to go for the summer. We stoop kids. Y'all out of school, we out of school until the school year start back up. We ain't never leaving school on this pod. So we figured that let's get into some summer films. If it's even if it's, I'm dang near even thinking about summer blockbusters because that's the thing. So, but anyway, nonetheless, we get into summer films. This is our next rotation of movies. Now that we've done Mother's Day, Father's Day, now I feel like we can free up a little bit because it got deep there.
Yeah.
Ash,
indeed.
Without further ado, what you got?
Oh, one more shout out, and this drops on Mia's son's birthday. So also happy birthday to you, little man.
Young man.
Shout out to you.
What a blessing, brother. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But so my pick is a movie that I've mentioned before. And I watched this movie quite a bit growing up. I thought it was super cute. And I always remember watching it in the summer. And it just had this summer vibe to it. It had this feel good, just like it just felt like summer to me. So we're going back to 1999 with none other than Freddie Prinze Jr. and She's All That.
Yeah. She's All That. I've been waiting for this movie to get on here.
Really?
Yeah, I have. I just haven't found the capacity. Oh man.
It definitely gives summer vibes. Like And I remember watching it in the summer too. Like it just, even though they were in school, it just felt like
They're about to get out of
summer to
school.
me.
Like they're about to get out.
Yeah, like we finna get out. You know what I'm
into
saying?
the summer. Yeah, for sure.
Prom, you know, that's always towards the summer, like all that. You know what I mean?
Dang, she did it. She's off. Yeah, I'm excited about that. That was definitely one of those movies. I love a good teenage movie. That's what I'm looking for in summer movies. A lot of them, like a good teenage movie, is what makes the summer feel like summer. So that's fire. I know me and G is gonna appreciate that too. Y'all again, y'all leave us y'all six. Y'all reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Leave a comment on YouTube or hit us up on Instagram, The Childish Grown Up Show, no spaces. Y'all know the next film. Next film comes out on Wednesday, so we're back on our schedule. Hopefully, I'm getting used to every 3 movies. After that, the 4th will be on, well, the last week of the month, because sometimes there are 5, depending on where it lands, will be TGIFs. So hopefully y'all have enjoyed this style. Again, another TGIF. We're gonna continue to keep this thing going, keep growing, and keep enjoying the reels. We're gonna have more reels. Ash is working on a reel as we speak. Hopefully I'll have some more reels. Eventually me get in the mix. So man, we thank y'all. It's summertime. We're getting into the films. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all Friday is dope. Happy birthday to all of the people we love. Peace out.